Hi guys, if you're looking for a way to learn how to cure vitiligo naturally, then I'm sure you'll find the following video very helpful. I've struggled with living with vitiligo and the mental warfare that comes with living with the disease for the past 20 plus years, and have tirelessly searched for the best information and science-based research on how to cure vitiligo over the past 10 years or so. I have recently, over the past 4.5 months, began to achieve what I believe to be a potential cure to my vitiligo by applying a few simple changes that I've made to my diet and lifestyle. Today I will share the exact details of the natural vitiligo treatment protocol that I'm using to achieve my vitiligo repigmentation, which is happening at quite a significant rate. In this video I will show you the scientific research that I have based this natural vitiligo treatment on, and show you a video of the vitiligo repigmentation results that I have achieved so far, 4.5 months in. I will also share some specific dietary tips and supplements that I've been using to help stimulate my melanin to come back. I hope this video will help you to be able to take the steps required to treat vitiligo, and perhaps may even cure your vitiligo once and for all. This video will help you learn how to treat vitiligo from home in a completely natural way. It may take a while to get through everything in this video, so grab a pen and paper and take some notes, or bookmark the video so you can watch it again later. Okay guys, so I just want to show you the vitiligo repigmentation results that I've achieved so far. First of all, my arm was almost 80% white from my wrist to my elbow only a few months ago, and as you can see here in the video, the spots are starting to fill in, and many areas with vitiligo spots are completely returning to the normal skin color. What's happening is the spots tend to start filling in with a bunch of very small dots that gradually get bigger and then join to fill in the area. As you can see, where my arm used to be a vivid white, it is now of a more freckled look. About 4 months ago, my hand was completely white with no color whatsoever, and as you can see now, my hand is about 30% repigmented. This is exciting to me, as most research shows that the hands and feet are very difficult to repigment, but it seems to be coming back on my hands just as fast as on my arms and neck. Again, here on my shins, I now have only small dots left, where a patch used to be about 2 centimeters wide and pure white. My shins and neck have cleared up faster since changing up my diet and using supplements. My feet and my knees are so far not responding anywhere near as quickly as the other areas of my body. Spots on my face are also filling in at a slow rate, but I don't really care how fast it happens as long as I'm making progress. Let me show you what I've been doing to get these results. Alright, so my natural vitiligo treatment protocol is based on scientific journals and books I've read, and a little bit of trial and error from living with the disease over the past 2 decades. It is very difficult to tell exactly what components of my vitiligo treatment protocol is helping me to reverse or cure my vitiligo, so my plan is to continue to follow all the following dietary and lifestyle changes each and every day until I achieve full repigmentation of my vitiligo. As you just saw in the video, at only 4.5 months I've achieved some exciting results. So let's get into the specifics of the vitiligo treatment protocol and delve into the studies from which I based my vitiligo specific lifestyle changes on. Firstly, I found an interesting study by Montes et al. Outlining the improvement of vitiligo after treatment with B12 and folic acid in combination with sun exposure. Montes et al. Folic acid and vitamin B12 in vitiligo, a nutritional approach is what the study was named. This particular study was undertaken on 100 people with vitiligo. Results of this vitiligo treatment study indicated repigmentation occurred in 52 patients, with 6 people achieving full repigmentation over the course of the study, which I believe was around 6 months. So from this research and other things that I've read, it looks like some people with vitiligo respond better to B12 and folic acid supplementation than others. But I think it is definitely worthwhile trying out B12 and folic acid supplementation to see if you're one of these people who tend to respond well to the treatment. Patients in this study took 1 milligram of a specific type of B12 and 5 milligrams of folic acid 3 times per day. Initially, I found the specific variations used in this study of the supplements hard to find locally, specifically in soft shell of this particular version of B12, which is supposed to be more easily absorbed and effective, but I've managed to locate the correct type online. I'll provide a link in the description below to the exact B12 and folic acid supplements that I'm taking, so you guys can easily track them down if you want to. Interestingly, another study I found by Dag et al. Showed that many people with vitiligo have B12 deficiency, so supplementation for B12 for vitiligo definitely makes sense to me. The second interesting vitiligo treatment study that I've incorporated into my natural vitiligo treatment protocol was that of Prasad et al. 2003, effectiveness of oral ginkgo biloba in treating limited, slowly spreading vitiligo, who found that a specific blend of ginkgo biloba can induce repigmentation in people with vitiligo. Ginkgo biloba is one of the oldest living tree species and has been used in Eastern medicine for thousands of years. Basically, the researchers found that ginkgo biloba is a strong antioxidant that can limit oxidative stress, which is believed to lead to further depigmentation in those with vitiligo. So basically, we have to do everything we can to stop this free radical damage in our bodies by reducing oxidative stress. There are a few other dietary changes that I've been trying to reduce free radical damage, which I will share with you later in this video. But back to the ginkgo biloba study on vitiligo repigmentation. In this study, patients were given 40 milligrams of ginkgo biloba extract 3 times daily. In this study, a number of people achieved significant repigmentation of their vitiligo. To be more precise, 10 people achieved complete repigmentation of their white spots. I found these vitiligo repigmentation results to be very exciting and knew that I had to implement ginkgo biloba into my own personal vitiligo treatment. If you want to try ginkgo biloba supplementation for yourself, be very careful to purchase the correct type, as some are much better quality and much more effective than others. After a lot of research, I found a product that I use that matches the ginkgo biloba used in the pre-mentioned research. The supplement contains all the required leaf extract properties in the correct amounts. I will link to the ginkgo biloba that I'm using in the description below to make it easy for you to track down. Thirdly, another thing that I have incorporated into my natural vitiligo treatment protocol is the use of copper and zinc. I started to try to get more copper and zinc into my body based on some interesting research by Zheng et al. In 2014. The study is named Decreased Copper and Zinc in the Serum of Chinese Vitiligo Patients, a meta-analysis. Basically, in this study, the researchers discovered that people with vitiligo tend to have lower levels of copper and zinc, which may lead to the onset and progression of the disease. I've taken the advice of the study and have begun to take a high-quality zinc supplement daily. You can check out the video description below for more details on the one that I'm taking. Just remember, zinc is most effectively absorbed and utilized in liquid form. Copper supplementation is a little bit different, as it is believed to be best absorbed through the skin, from what I have read. To achieve this, I began wearing 2 copper bracelets to bed at night. Of course, if you wanted to try this, you could wear a bracelet during the day, but I don't like the way they look, so I don't. If you can find a high quality copper bracelet and wear it for a few hours of the day, you'll get a steady supply of copper through your skin. If you do want to purchase a copper bracelet, make sure that you get a 100% pure medical grade copper bracelet. When I was looking for one, I noticed that many manufacturers say these bracelets are pure, but they have contaminants in them on close inspection. I will provide a link to the quality bracelets that I wear in the description below. They are not that expensive. I think I only paid around $20 for each. Another thing that I tried to help cure my vitiligo is to get more sun. In the past, I have tried to avoid the sun as I tan very easily, and it really increases the contrast of the spots. However, research suggests that the sunlight can play a very important role in vitiligo repigmentation, plus it has many other health benefits such as bone, heart and muscle health. In the past, I've gone through periods of time when I've avoided the sun like the plague to not get tanned, but I've come to realise that I can't keep sacrificing my health just to keep my skin as pale as possible. These days I try to get at least 5 to 15 minutes of sun here in Australia between 10 to 3 p.m. most days of the week. Of course, here in Australia the sun can be brutally harsh, so depending on where you live you may need less or more. If you can't get to the sun daily, perhaps you could try a home UVB lamp. I haven't used these UVB lamps myself, but it may be worth a try. Just be careful when out in the sun or using UVB treatment because, as you know, we burn very easily. Whenever I go out in the sun for longer, I always wear a natural sunscreen that has no nasty chemicals. Some chemicals found in popular sunscreens are believed to increase free radicals in the skin, which is definitely not what us people with vitiligo want. I'll put a link to the natural sunscreen that I have found that is void of these nasties if I can find it online. Check the description below for details. I buy it in my local chemist, but if I find it online, I'll put a link in the description for you guys. Sometimes a natural sunscreen can be a pain to track down, but I think it's definitely worth doing everything we can to try to prevent the spread of vitiligo while in the process of treating the disease. Of course, if you get sun, you will get tanned and the contrast to your spots will get worse. At certain times in the past this has bothered me, so I've opted on using products to cover my spots when I have a special occasion to attend. I've sometimes used Vitiligo complexion blender in the past to cover my spots. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. I've found that the complexion blender works really well on large spots on my neck and face, but would rather avoid it as this contains some ingredients that I don't really want to apply to my skin anymore. These days, if I want to cover my remaining vitiligo spots, I use an organic fake tan lotion that I found. It produces similar results as the Vitiligo complexion blender without the nasty chemicals, plus it tends to last for a week or more without fading. I tried a heap of fake tans to cover my vitiligo in the past, but I found that this organic version looks, smells and performs the best out of the lot. I'll place a link to it in the description below if you guys want to check it out to learn more about it. I like the idea of using an organic tan as I implement other healthy lifestyle and supplement changes into my life. I try not to cover my vitiligo too much anymore as I'm slowly learning to live with it. But to be honest, I think it's a repigmentation process that I'm making with my natural vitiligo protocol that is giving me a sense of being in control of the disease rather than feeling like the disease is controlling me, if you know what I mean. I feel more comfortable with my spots at the moment as I now live with a sense that they won't be around for much longer, and I must admit it feels great. I just try to remain positive and focus on the fact that I'm treating my vitiligo with success. Taking the supplements daily is a bit of a pain initially, but after a few days you get in the habit and it gets a lot easier to remember. The final thing that I believe has helped me to start to repigment my vitiligo spots is incorporating certain vitiligo specific dietary changes into my life. I used to eat quite an unhealthy diet, but have definitely turned that around recently. I think it's playing a large part in my potential vitiligo cure. Not only am I repigmenting since I made these dietary changes, but I'm also feeling much better and I've lost quite a bit of belly fat in the process over the past few months. Basically, the diet focuses on restoring the autoimmune system and reducing free radical damage. All of the dietary changes that I'm implementing are from an interesting vitiligo ebook that I found online. The book is written by a vitiligo researcher and certified nutritionist who actually has beat vitiligo himself. The book gave me access to a heap of awesome vitiligo diet specific recipes and tips on what to eat and when. I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote it, but I'll track it down when I get home and put a link to it in the description of this video. I think the book cost me around $30, and then the vitiligo cookbook edition, which they offered, was around $7 extra. I believe that this vitiligo specialist who wrote the book also offers a few months of free one-on-one email consultation when you purchase the book. I haven't worried about taking up his offer, but maybe some of you would find his one-on-one advice helpful. He seems to be very knowledgeable on the trials of living with vitiligo. His book also touches on the psychological side of vitiligo, which I found to be a worthwhile read also. There are also some nice audio tracks that are helpful with the mental side of living with vitiligo. I found it helpful in finding a happy perspective and overcoming depression, which I know many of us struggle with at times living with this disease. The vitiligo cookbook gave me some great tips on what to eat and, more importantly, what not to eat. I could talk about the changes I've made in my diet for hours, and unfortunately I don't have the time right now to go through it in enough detail that will actually help you. I believe that the ebook that I'm referring to comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, so if you really wanted to, you could buy the book, print the diet info out and then get a refund. I think it's definitely worth the money, though nice to have to refer to now and then. The book guarantees that it can cure vitiligo within 8 weeks, which I think is a bit of a stretch. But like I said, I'm 4.5 months in and it's seeing great results, so I'm not complaining. Although I must admit I haven't completely followed the diet to an absolute T. Whether the repigmentation results are from the supplementation regime or from dietary changes from the book, I'm not sure. I'll definitely strictly stick to both for now. I think consistency is the key, as I had 1 or 2 bad weeks where I started eating badly and forgot to take my supplements every day, and it seemed to slow my progress. So yes, it does take some effort to beat vitiligo, but I'm proof that it can be reversed in a relatively short period of time. Basically, on the vitiligo diet, you eat specific foods and herbs that help support the immune system and reduce free radical damage. If you guys really want to know more, I might make a detailed video in the future about the dietary changes I made. In the meantime, I definitely recommend checking out the ebook. It doesn't cost much and is very professionally designed, easy to follow. You can print off recipes, keep it in the kitchen, it's definitely worth it. I'll place a link below when I get home so you guys can check it out. I found it super helpful getting me to eat healthier in a vitiligo specific way, and hopefully you do too. In a way, vitiligo has made me a much healthier person, as I probably wouldn't be eating this well if I wasn't trying to save my skin. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video today to learn about my natural vitiligo treatment that I'm hoping will soon lead to a full vitiligo cure. I've tried to implement all of these changes into my life at once, so it's hard to tell exactly which ones are leading to the changes, but for now I'm happy to continue doing what I'm doing as my spots are disappearing and I'm generally feeling better than ever. So hopefully you have found these studies and resources helpful in allowing you to learn how to cure your vitiligo, or at least stop your vitiligo from spreading further. For any of you youngsters who are in the early stages of vitiligo, I suggest doing everything you can to stop the spread of vitiligo as soon as possible. I wish I knew what I know now about vitiligo when I was young, as I believe it would have saved me a lot of stress and anxiety. I think that taking a preventive approach to your vitiligo treatment or cure is always a much better way to go if your vitiligo has not yet spread too much. When you don't look after yourself, vitiligo can spread very fast, so definitely look after yourself as best you can. I've learned a lot from living with vitiligo, and I'm probably going to end up being a lot healthier because of it. So take control of your vitiligo by using evidence-based tips and tricks. Good luck on your journey to overcoming vitiligo. It is a relatively slow process, but I'm sure that if we keep doing the right things, we can overcome and cure this annoying disease. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have had any success treating your vitiligo, I would love to hear your story about living with vitiligo, how you cope, so please comment below. Don't forget to check out the links in the description for the exact products that I'm using to help repigment. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll try to make some more helpful videos on my experience of living with vitiligo in the future and keep you updated on my progress, so be sure to subscribe to my channel. Best of luck on your journey to cure vitiligo.